Shall we?
Let's do it.
Recording. All right. What is up, guys? Nasir here, and welcome to the KharmaKast, a podcast where I just kick back, chill out, and have a relaxed conversation with creators I admire. Today we're joined by Elizabeth Filips, a third-year medical student at King's College London, a talented artist and someone who's recently been thrust into the world of YouTube and social media. Her editing style and soothing voice has me hooked. She's an absolute productivity machine. Elizabeth, welcome to the KharmaKast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm already blushing and this has just started. So yeah, great intro. I approve.
You approve of everything. Okay, that's good. That's one of the first questions I always ask. Did I get it right? Is it good enough? And yeah,
I love how you don't tell us that first. And it's just like, it's good. I like the style. I like it.
Nice. It needs to be a bit of a surprise, you know? I have to keep you guys on your toes. So this can't be a cakewalk. So hi, Elizabeth. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, for the few people who might be listening or watching on YouTube and don't know who you are, can you just say, who you are, what you're about, what you do? Just a little intro.
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Elizabeth Filips. I'm also a King's medic.
Hey.
So yeah, so that's two of us on the podcast so far that are King's medics, right?
Yeah, clearly have a selection bias there.
Clearly. So yes, I'm a third year King's medic, and I also, like you said, just recently started YouTube. I also do a couple of things on the side. Most notably, I'm an artist also, so I do a bit of medical art recently, and yeah, I think that's the main things.
Nice. There's so many things that I wanna dive into and talk about, because I don't know, when somebody is doing lots of different things in their life, medical school, art, YouTube, I'm immediately interested. And I just want to know how people balance their time, how they find motivation and interest in these different things. And yeah, we have a lot to get into. But the first thing that I want to ask you about is, I was looking through your YouTube channel, as I always do before I start these things. And I scrolled down to your first YouTube video and I noticed two things. One is that it was posted 3 months ago. And for anyone listening, Elizabeth is currently at 20,000 subscribers. Yeah, 20,000 subscribers. And her first video was posted 3 months ago. And the second thing I noticed is that the video is titled, "Why Students Shouldn't Buy iPads in 2021. And
so it's a personal attack.
I did definitely feel personally attacked when I read that title. Tell me, go ahead.
So this video, okay, so that's true. The first video was 3 months ago. That's when I started YouTube. And I think it's a prime example of a lot of things that I did wrong when starting.
Okay.
I was not prepared. I wasn't prepared for like the comments, and I didn't do the thing that I do now, is that whenever I prepare a script or a video concept, my second or first thought is, how could this go really wrong? How could people misinterpret or misconstrue what I'm meaning to say, or how could I say something improperly? And I definitely said everything improperly in that video. And then I decided not to change the title, because I thought, this will be a testament to how I started YouTube, because the title says "Don't buy an iPad," and very clearly I don't actually believe that. So I lived on my iPad in first year of medical school. It's so good for preclinical medicine. I was like a huge Notability fan.
Oh, I completely agree.
I have so many Notability notes. A lot of them I have like for free on my website now, if anyone wants them, from like preclinical medicine. And I loved it. It's so good. However, in clinical medicine, in clinical medicine, on online lectures, I just find it so much easier to just use Notion straight away, and use like web clippers and clip things from like the actual presentation on Zoom, and that really changed my workflow. And I was like, oh God, I should not use iPads now. Plus the other thing that I feel like there's this whole especially in medicine, there's this whole thing about you should use an iPad to succeed, and they're quite expensive, and I know a lot of people can't afford them. So I was kind of like in the corner I have my super old iPad, by the way, like I haven't upgraded it. They're so expensive.
Fair enough.
So I feel like if you would have a good one with a kind of keyboard, then you could make it work just as well. And if definitely if you're not doing medicine, because I had a lot of engineering students be like, what is this girl talking about? I can't write numbers. I was like, no, please, I'm not saying you should type out numbers. So yeah, there's a lot of mistakes. I do apologize, but yeah.
It's obviously completely fine. And I actually agree with you in the sense that once I started clinical medicine, I really slowed down how much note-taking I was doing. And I just recently made a video where I talked about how the vast majority of my studying now is done from past paper questions and from actually being in the hospital, trying to take things in and looking them up later. So I've also sort of gone through that shift of, writing so many notes every single day to now my iPad, very unfortunately, doesn't get that much use. I mostly take it with me when I go to like lecture days or tutorial days that we have on placement, where I can't take my laptop because this baby, unfortunately, is absolutely fried. Its battery does not last at all. It's literally just been sitting there editing 4K footage for like 2.5 years, and it's at the end of its life. But yeah, I like a couple of things you said there. You were talking about, you decided not to change the title, and you didn't care about the comments and things like that. I think when you start a YouTube channel, you kind of have to have this brave personality and this brave face on, where you're like, you know what, I'm just not going to care. I'm just going to put it out there and see what happens. And yeah, talk to me a little bit about that initial video that you upload, the initial edit, and the reaction that you get from people, and how you sort of handle those emotions and those feelings.
I think handle is like the wrong word, because I'm not sure I did handle them, or that I do handle them.
Or you buried them, that's fine.
Anyway. Yeah, exactly. It's more of me trying to be like, oh God, please make it stop. I'm going to say it's very difficult. I'm so curious to know what your experience is on this, because for me, for example, like starting YouTube was such a hard decision to make. It was so difficult. And I think working with Ali had its pros and cons, in that I had so much insight, but also I couldn't relate to him at all, because Ali does not have emotions associated with YouTube at all.
And also his standard is really high. If you're looking to get into YouTube, if you compare yourself to someone like Ali Abdaal, it's like, I'm never going to be there. I could never start like that. So
exactly. Yeah. And you are part of that issue too, because you're part of the problem. You're probably part of the problem, Nasir. Like, you're stopping people. Because I remember Ali telling me like, oh, look at like Kharma Medic, he's doing YouTube at King's, why can't you do it? And I was like, exactly. Look at Kharma Medic.
I'm actually so sad you've said that, because I've always tried to say to myself, like, Nasir, don't care what the lighting is like, don't care if you look like, if your hair's done perfectly or you're wearing good clothes or whatever, just film the video. The important thing is what you're saying, the value in the content that you're providing. And I've always tried to
perfect.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, like, over the years, I've invested so much in like camera gear and like microphones and lighting, and I've started to care more and more about these things, that I've kind of lost that touch. And like now, when I think back to my early days of uploading videos and that type of stuff at the beginning, I've completely forgotten how I felt and what was going on, and it sucks. Like I completely forgot that stuff, and I want to talk to you about that and like sort of remember how it felt to be doing something for the first time.
Oh my gosh. I think so. I considered it for a while. I kind of had that like artistic side, and I really liked the idea of starting YouTube, but I was so scared. I'm quite a private person. Like, I had about, I think, 2 or 3 Instagram photos in the last 4 years. So and most of them were not of me. I didn't post a lot. I was really scared to be on social media. And I was really scared of like backlash, a lot of comments that people would make on my appearance, especially, or on things that I say, or what is this girl doing? Who is she trying to be?
You're heading in the opposite direction of all of those things, right? Like they're coming now that you're on YouTube.
Yeah. And I told Ali this, and Ali's reaction would be, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you care about this? And to me, I think like for about 10 months, what I was thinking was, well, clearly I'm not a YouTuber, because if YouTubers are like Ali and they don't care about these things, I care about these things so much, and therefore I can't start, and it's just not for me.
Right.
And it was the academy, so Ali's part-time YouTuber academy, that changed, and there were suddenly 400 people, and they were all terrified. They were so scared. And because they were all so scared, that gave me so much inspiration, because I was like, okay, apparently this is a scary thing.
It's scary for people, yeah.
Yeah, and they were doing it anyway. So then that kind of gave me the push. So the first video was terrifying. I had never edited before. I'd never like filmed myself before. So I wasn't even looking at the lens. Like I'm looking at my iPhone screen. I didn't have a camera. Oh my
God, I used to do the same all the time.
It's so hard.
It's when so you start, hard, yeah.
Now it's like second nature-ish, and it's only taken a few weeks. So if anyone's thinking of starting, that part gets easier. But I think a lot of the rest of it, I'm still definitely coping with.
You know, Elizabeth, I feel like you've gone from someone who's never filmed a video before / put themselves out online to comfortable YouTuber on camera in a very short span of time. Like genuinely, even that first video of why students shouldn't buy an iPad, I thought you were quite natural on camera. And watching, genuinely, and your recent vlogs and sit-down videos that I've watched, like, you are genuinely natural on camera. So it's a lot of it is in your head, I think.
That's reassuring. To me, it doesn't feel that way. I do look at myself, and I think it's getting slightly better. So I'm closer to my natural self now. But when I see myself in the beginning, I'm like, who is she? What are you doing? Why? You're still alone in your room. Why are you talking like this?
Oh my God. Yes, I can relate to that as well. Did you start like talking in robotic sentences or like short phrases at a time?
Yeah. And there's a lot of freeze. How many ums do I say too? Like I'm just
Same.
It's so annoying.
I remember cutting out those ums and ahs, like every single one, because I was self-conscious. I was like worried that it would be embarrassing if I had so many ums and ahs and there were, I wasn't speaking eloquently. And part of the reason that I started this podcast is because I want to get better at talking in long form content and having these sort of wider conversations without saying and ah every 5 seconds, because I am a very big like culprit of that, and I'm saying like now 100 times as I describe this. But I'm trying to become a better speaker, and that's part of why I started this podcast. And YouTube surprisingly hasn't helped that much. I've made over 100 videos now. I've been on the internet for like 3 years. And I still have the same fears and anxieties about speaking in front of groups of people that I've always had. It hasn't really narrowed down. It has improved, but not as much as I thought it would.
So is that in terms of, firstly, I'd like to say I love your motivation there. I like to be in public. I like to be better at speaking. So I just randomly started this podcast, which is a huge thing. So I see those personality traits there. But
definitely.
Is that in terms of like translating to public speaking in front of people that you think hasn't changed? Or
yeah, like giving presentations in front of like classmates or groups of people, even if it's something like 10-50 people, which kind of objectively speaking isn't a large audience by any means, but it still gets me hella nervous. I mean, the thing is, if I'm very honest, my mind is not nervous and I am very clear headed during those times. But my physiological response is of somebody like running away from a tiger. Like I'm sweating, my voice is shaky, I'm red. I can't help it, even though my head is clear. And so I'm trying to expose myself to scary situations like that so that I can get over it and, stop being like this. And yeah, that's how I'm like trying to deal with this issue of mine.
Yeah, I would say experience, like you said, is the best thing. So for me, it was the opposite. I don't have stage fright almost at all. I used to do lots of acting and theatre acting when I was younger.
Nice.
So I'm used to speaking in front of people. I found the opposite thing, that on camera, I was so unnatural. And I was like, I could do like the same speech. I could give the same like talk in front of 100 people and I'd be less nervous than I was alone in my bedroom with my iPhone. So
there's just something about staring into a lens. And it's just so unnatural. It's so unnatural.
Exactly. We haven't evolved for this. It's like we're trying to do things we're not good at.
Yeah. I was going to say, and there's so much like social pressure surrounding like, I don't know, like filming an Instagram story or taking a selfie on the street or recording videos to upload to YouTube and things like that, which I think adds a lot of pressure onto, am I doing this right? Am I speaking nicely? Am I coming across well on camera? And that really adds to that, and it's something that's taken me like forever to get past.
I was going to ask, how do you do that? So I saw your latest vlog, and honestly, I was completely speechless to the point that I was like, they need a new name. They need a new name for what I'm doing or for what he's doing, because this is not the same thing anymore. Like this is different. It was incredible. But I did notice that you were filming like in public quite a bit, and there was a part of me that at the same time was like, slow clapping, and at the same time was terrified just watching that. I was so nervous. How did you get over that?
Oh man, filming in public still freaks me out like quite a bit to this day, and especially if like I know that I'm in an area where people know me or people might know me. For example, if I'm filming on campus or like near the hospital or something like that, I'm like, you know, there's a decent chance that somebody might run into me who I know from Kings or whatever. That always like has me on edge. But honestly, I wish I could sit here and say, yeah, I don't mind at all. I just film in public, but it's kind of not like that. It does take a little bit of like encouragement from myself and like working up to it. And then I just try to think to myself that nobody gives a shit. Like nobody is looking at me thinking, ha ha ha, what a loser, he's talking to his camera. Nobody cares. And once I get over that fear, then it's fine. Up until I get over that fear, I'm nervous about it. But yeah, it is really difficult. And I always say this when I get asked this question, is that when I first started vlogging, I would take my tripod and my camera and I would just walk around my neighborhood and I wouldn't hold it up. I would just have it down by my side. And even the act of doing that had me so stressed out and nervous, genuinely. And then I started lifting the camera up a little bit, completely off, like with the screen in, no microphone, no nothing. And just like seeing what that felt like and what like response that would give me. And yeah, I just like slowly worked up to it. It wasn't just one day I picked it up and started vlogging.
Okay, so graded exposure. I see.
Yeah, definitely. My whole life is graded exposure, by the way. Like, same with this podcast. I'm gradually exposing myself to these situations. It's it's like the best way to get better at something, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Elizabeth, do you remember how we met?
Yes.
Yes. So how did we meet?
There was no graded exposure.
There was no graded exposure.
Yes. So this was at Ollie's place. It was last year.
Yeah.
And I was going up to Cambridge to hang out with Ollie, and he didn't tell me that you were there. It was not on his calendar. Also,
he didn't tell me you were coming.
Which is surprising. So he does these things, and it wasn't on his calendar, so I thought his day was off.
Oh, okay.
And it was only when I was in the train that he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, can you get mind getting an Uber over because I have Nasir over?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" So honestly, I'll be honest and say I was a bit like fangirly at this point.
Oh man, okay, so you had been watching my videos at the time.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I knew of you, but I didn't know you, so we never met before, even though we were both at King's. So it was a slight moment. I don't know if I came off nervous or anything. So I entered the house and I was like, "Oh my god."
I don't think so. I think looking back on it, we didn't talk enough during that night. But I think it's because Ali and I were like so focused on filming the videos, and it was like getting to the end of the day, and we knew I had to go catch the train and blah blah blah. So yeah, looking back, I feel like we didn't talk enough. But otherwise, no, I don't think you came across nervous. Yeah, we did. We talked a decent amount.
We did. But what we did do is show Ali, try to refine Ali's taste in music.
Yes, I remember that very vividly. We were showing him Mac Miller.
Yes, exactly.
I remember.
I don't think it stuck. We also showed him Anaconda and Cardi B, which I had not heard of. So definitely refining his music taste there.
Oh my! I forget what he was trying to show us. What he was telling us was his good music. It was probably like a Harry Potter instrumental or something along those lines.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Probably. Yeah. So what I wanted to ask you is, when we met, what did you think of me at the time? Like meeting me in real life versus what you had watched me in the videos, and be completely honest. Like
oh my god, I'm so scared to be honest about this.
No, please be honest. I'll cut it on post if I don't like it. Don't worry. No, I'm kidding. Okay. I'm kidding.
Okay, that's reassuring. So I posted this on my Instagram story, so they'll know there's drama if you don't post this. So I think when seeing your videos, I was a combination of like amazed at your video quality, because like I said, it was one of the reasons that I couldn't start YouTube. Sorry, was just like how good your videos were.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But also for a lot of things, I was like, who is this guy? How does he do things like this? I remember some things that stuck with me. Yeah. Or when you said something about being able to wake up every morning and never sleeping in.
Yeah.
And as a night owl and not a morning person, I feel as though it's physiologically impossible. I feel attacked, but also I felt like, is he being honest? But then I met you in person, and I felt like you were a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Just like, yeah, really like really easy to talk to, very fun to be around. And I was like, okay, I get this. It's different. It's different. So I feel like in your YouTube, you're like a bit more produced, I'd say, rather than like less natural than you are in person. That was like the difference for me, because I was like, oh, this guy seems like just a bit too nerdy on coming from me.
A bit too nerdy in real life or on the videos?
No, on the videos. And then I met you in real life and I was like, oh no, this guy's really cool. Like I'd hang out with this guy. He's chill. So yeah.
The reason I asked is because, no, it's completely fine. The reason I asked is because I want to be the exact same in real life that I am in my videos. I want there to be like no disparity there, besides obviously being, you know, extra professional online and making sure I don't cross any like bad boundaries or whatever. But I want to be the exact same, because I feel like I'm the exact same. But, you know, something you mentioned, like, oh, this guy's cool, I would actually hang out with him. Like, that's something that my girlfriend tells me all the time. She's like, you sound way cooler in real life. Like, you sound way more chill, like way more, you know, like free and whatever. And then in your videos, you come across a little bit more robotic and more reserved. And so, yeah, and that's something that I'm trying to change. I want to be the same. I want there to be no mismatch there. But okay, fine. I'll work on it more.
I think, so you know Thomas Frank?
Yeah.
He's struggling with the same thing, in that he's like so overproduced in his videos that like he can't come up with a vlog. Like he can't do that. It's so out of place for his channel.
Right.
And I think like you're more on the Thomas Frank spectrum, wherein like your videos are such high quality and there's so much value. And like, honestly, like they're just packed with value and production, and everything is so great that like
fantastic. Somewhere
in that, I think the Nasir parts that are like more natural have to be edited out for that.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like obviously it's like working really well for you and you're still like a pleasure to watch. But so yeah, I would ask why you want to do that, like have more of yourself, because I think it depends on the video context too. So if it's like a video about how to use an iPad, I mean, it's fine. So I guess not have that much personality in it and to have value, because I think it's an issue if there's like a mismatch, if you're trying to be someone else and you are in reality someone else. But I think if it's like, I think it would be very difficult to have a completely raw version of yourself out there. So
I mean, I think I'm very far from a mismatch. I think I'm very, very similar. And there's like a small gap that I need to close. And I really think the majority of the reason why I come across more robotic in my videos is because like I'm really scared of wasting people's time, and I want every sentence that I say and every word that I say to be useful, be valuable, and like no more, like no filler at all. I just want to say the important information and that's it. And so it's hard to have a personality when you do that. You know, you are literally just saying, here's a fact, here's another fact, and then here's a statement. I'm not going to share my opinion because that would take up 2 minutes of the video. So here's another fact. And it's the constant struggle that I'm with when I'm editing, you know, making decisions on what to cut out and what to leave in. But yeah, in my vlogs, hopefully I show a little bit more personality and a little bit more of myself. Yeah.
I get that 100%. So the same thing for me. When I first started my videos are like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And I would record them and they would be 16 minutes edited. And I'd be like, no one's going to watch me for 16 minutes. So I would cut them down to 3 minutes because I was so scared of wasting people's time. It's such a huge fear of mine that I want this to be bare bones, valuable, watch it, move on with your life. Please don't waste your time looking at me. And even worse, if like they watch the whole thing and they actually don't agree, I just wasted 5 minutes of someone's life for no reason. Like, how could you do that? It's so selfish. And I'm still, because it's early days and like a lot of people do this, but for me, putting my face out there seems like the most selfish thing in the world, that I'm asking someone to pause what they're doing and look at me talk. Why? Who asked you? Who asked you for this? Like, who asked you to do this, to bring this into my life? So
like, it's true, but remember, the hope is that you're providing value in one way, shape, or form, you know, and if someone clicks on your video and watches it the whole way through, you best believe you have provided some value to that person, because as you know, and as I know, I don't watch any second longer of a video than I need to, because I watch it to get the value that I want from it, and then I'll close it. So if someone watches your video, they're getting value from it. You know, you're doing something useful. So yeah, there is a greater purpose.
Yeah, I try to convince myself of that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, how in the world do you edit your videos down to 3 or 4 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes? I try so hard to do this and I just can't get down past like 10, 12. I'm like, that's the point where I get to where I'm like, I'm just shooting myself in the foot if I cut out anything else. Like, I love what is here and I don't want to remove it.
Okay. My first thing would be, you're doing better because you get monetization over 8 minutes. So stick with what you're doing is what I would say. I would say it depends on the person and the style, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you say that you really would be shooting yourself in the foot, absolutely, like, don't take out a single second out of it. I'm a minimalist in like many, many ways. And I've gotten very
I see from your kitchen counter.
Yeah,
you're very minimalist.
Like everything is empty. I have one plate. Like, I own one plate.
Genuinely?
It's ridiculous. Genuinely, because I live alone, so I don't have other people. So I have one plate and one bowl.
Surely you need two. One's dirty, one's clean. You clean one while the other one's dirty.
I clean it and put it away.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay.
I'm very, very minimalistic, so I've gotten very used to that. And as a sentimental person, I fight against it every day. I got takeaway earlier today and they send me a card where they're like, oh, I hope you enjoy this. And my first instinct is, I need to hold this. It's a card. And I'm like, Elizabeth, stop. This is not a person, you know.
That's ridiculous.
It's very much fighting against myself. But I've gotten used to that feeling. It's the same thing in my video. So I'll think that, okay, I like this, but is it because I like it or is it valuable, and I'll take it away? I don't recommend this. I think I will be going towards longer videos as I get more comfortable with myself online.
Okay.
But I'm very, very easy in like remove, cut everything out in the editing. Just send your videos to me. I'll bring them down to 20 seconds.
Genuinely. I think there's a lot of value in having a video being between 3 to 5, 3 to 6 minutes, because I feel like those videos are extremely shareable. Something that a 10-minute video struggles to do, and something that like a 20-minute video, it's impossible. Like, shares is not going to happen on a 20-minute video for the most part, like generally speaking, I think, from my personal experience. So yeah, no, I definitely want to make some videos that are shorter, and I'm working on some now. So hopefully I'll achieve that goal.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, the last thing that I want to talk to you about in regards to YouTube is, so yeah, in a 3-month period, you've gone from 0 to 20,000 subscribers, which is something that took me, I think, almost 2 years. So, you know, this is really, really fast growth. And I'm sure a lot of change is happening like in your life, and with all these new eyes and new opinions on, like you said, your how you talk, your appearance, and like literally anything. So I wanted to ask you, like, how have you dealt with that, if you've dealt with it at all? And sort of what advice would you have to somebody who might be going through the same thing?
I think it was really difficult, but at the same time, I'm also fortunate in that it's like COVID times. So I haven't met a lot of people in person. I haven't met my parents since I started my YouTube channel. I haven't met my closest friends since I started my YouTube channel. Like, I've talked to them, but I haven't met them yet. So for me, it's still very unreal. And it kind of ties, I was not prepared. It was so emotionally like draining for me, to the point that I was convinced the more I grew, the more that this wasn't for me, which is a really bad thing. Now I'm slightly getting over that. But the feeling, so I would watch people. So I started around the time that Faye got to 50,000 subscribers or 40,000, I'm not sure. And she had a cake and a celebration, and it was so beautiful. And this is what everyone does, you know, you hit the 1 million, and I was pushing Ali to celebrate the 1 million. And like, I thought these were things to be celebrated. And then when I hit 1,000, which was a huge milestone for me, I was so scared. I was so scared. And then when the 10 and now the 20, I think like none of these milestones felt good. Like, they didn't feel good. I just felt terrified. Really? I felt such imposter syndrome. I felt completely out of control, because I started YouTube thinking, okay, I have 2 more years of medical school left. I have 2 years of foundation training. I can make this more interesting by kind of, you know, doing this fun project on the side. And in 4 years, hopefully I'll get to like monetization, and maybe it's something cool comes out of it. And then it might become a thing, or I might drop it when I start my serious medical training. Okay. This was my mindset. My goal for 2021, deep down. Yes. My goal for 2021, deep down, that I wouldn't allow myself to think of, was to get to 1,000 subscribers. So I when this happened, I just felt terrified. I was like, I'm not ready. I still, like, the only thing I can do on my camera is move the lens in and out and zoom it. I don't know how to do anything else. I don't know what any of the functions are. Nothing. I've never like filmed in public. I hadn't talked about art yet when I hit 10K. I felt like I didn't have the opportunity to kind of mess up properly in private, but everything now is like on a bigger platform. And I was so scared that I would do one mistake and everyone would just disappear, boom, poof, gone. And it would be just bad things would happen. I don't know. It was very, very irrational to me. So I would say I haven't dealt with it. Now I'm realizing it's actually not a big deal and nothing really changed in my life. I still haven't processed 1,000. I'm still at that stage where I think I'm under 1,000, like mentally. But
I can completely relate to that. Yeah.
So I don't know really. I would say in terms of advice that like it can be terrifying. It's not that glamorous. I can imagine a day where I'll reach like 25 and I'll actually be like, oh, that's a nice thing. People like what I'm doing, because I think I'm edging towards that right now. But initially that definitely wasn't the case. And I think it's fine for it to feel like, it's ridiculous because you put yourself out there and obviously you hope that it does well, but at the same time I'm like, I feel violated. This is too many people.
I mean, and your videos are doing incredibly well, not just well, you know. I mean, your first ever video, the iPad one we've talked about extensively, has like 60,000 views. Your day in the life of medical school has 75,000 views, and then, you know, like, these videos are doing very, very well. And so you're clearly providing value. You're clearly doing something right. And that day will very soon come where you realize, you know what, this is actually a good thing and people are enjoying this. I mean, if you just have a look through your comments, they're like all positive. I've looked through them and they're all really endearing, right? Yeah. So, you know, you're definitely doing something right.
Can I ask you one question, like, regarding YouTube?
Yeah.
Because this is something I'm struggling with. Okay. When I started, I was very strict on not doing vlogs. Okay. I'm very strict on not talking about my personal life and just talking about like things that I liked. So art and studying and books and stuff. And what people actually want to see, and the videos that you mentioned are all personal videos. So my house tour did so well, and my Q&As and things like this do very well. Yeah. And I hate it. I don't want to do that.
That's what the people want. Like, they want to know about you.
How do you cope with that? Because I feel like you're kind of the same in that you want to do, you know, valuable things, but then what people want to see is perhaps, you know, what do you have for lunch? How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
And how do you cope with it?
I really, really value my privacy in this world of putting myself online and people knowing a whole lot about me, which they definitely do. But I'm really, really careful about what I share and what I talk about and what gets included in my videos and what gets cut out, because it's a very scary thing for people to know so much about you and you not to know about them. I feel like I get put in a position of extreme vulnerability, and it invites like people's opinions on what you do in your own daily and personal life, and I want that to be dictated by me and my experiences, not what people are telling me to feel or to do or whatever. So yeah, I think really, really hard about that. And I don't know, it's scary. This whole thing is very scary. Like, it's very fun. I enjoy it so much, and you know, the fun aspect and the value that I personally gain from putting myself out there and whatever far exceeds the scariness. But the scariness is very real, and it does exist. And you know, over the last months, especially now that like I get recognized an absurd amount of times on placement and sometimes in the street when I'm walking around doing like very normal things, it's kind of scary, and it's something that I really take into account. And it's weird. It's weird that people would care about you because you are just a normal person. You're just going to med school. You're just going shopping. You're just buying some clothes, like whatever. Exactly. And it's a strange feeling. It's a super strange feeling. But like I said, like the things that I gain from it much outweigh any of those negatives. But it is something that I think about fairly often. Yeah, I don't know if you've experienced anything like that so far.
Not yet. I think my channel is still tiny. I think the only thing was someone who, like last Thursday, I was in hospital at King's, and another medical student, and I'd never talked to him before, and he was like, "Oh, I saw your YouTube channel," and that's all he said, and that just made me so scared. I was like, "Well, you just red." That was literally like, well, you just ruined the vibe there today. Thanks. Like, we just have 3 more hours to spend with each other. So I think that was really, I think it's very new to me. So I'm not used to it either. But for now, I feel like I only complained, but it is genuinely so much fun. It's so much fun. Great. And so I think the same, like it is worth it in the end.
Honestly, like when I was making videos for like the first year and a half, 2 years, like I think what you said before is very true, that all this has happened really fast for you. So you haven't really had time to process the 1,000, the 10,000, the 20,000 or whatever. Like for me, it was so slow, you know, like I had plenty of time to like, to learn, to make mistakes, to upgrade, whatever. And everything kind of happened gradually in one-off events, and then they started becoming more common and whatever. So yeah, like completely different experiences for sure. But yeah, just keep, if you're enjoying it, just keep doing it. Like as long as you're throwing value out into the world, you have little to worry about. And that's what I always tell myself. It's like, as long as I'm confident in what I'm saying, as long as I believe I'm doing something that's positive, then, you know, nobody can tell me you're wrong. And I'll be like, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. It's like, no, I'm very careful about what I talk about, what I do, and hopefully it's all positive. I genuinely believe anything that I put out there is positive. And so that helps me sort of deal with that side of the emotions.
Yeah, it's good advice.
All right. Now that I've absolutely grilled you on your YouTube experience and going from 0 to 20,000 subscribers in 3 months, I want to talk to you about other aspects of your life outside of YouTube, and namely your art, your drawings, both digital and physical, from what I've seen as well. It seems to be a big part of your life, and you are very good at it. So, you know, talk to me about your art, why you do it, how you started. Just tell me about it.
It's a very, very interesting thing, actually. How much time do you have? It does play a huge part of my life. I think it always has. And fortunately, I've kind of made it work with medicine recently, so it still does. I did not call myself an artist, and I felt very strongly against people doing that until a year ago. Mm-hmm. I had such imposter syndrome. I was like, no, I'm not an artist. I don't have any training and I can't be called that. But I think now it's gotten better. This is quite deep, actually, the reasons why I like art. Like the honest reasons why I like art. I think, like, for me, I've definitely had many moments in my life in the past that have been very challenging, and I think art has helped so much. I think anyone who's gone through a difficult stage has had the one thing that has helped them, and that's very often been art for me. And perhaps it's because I'm a bit of an overthinker, but because I definitely overthink art, but it ends up, it's like, the way that I would describe it, this might sound crazy, but this is just like the way that I see it in my head, is that the world is so hectic and there's so much going on, and it's move forward, and nothing stops. And, you know, people are loud and passionate and like angry and aggressive and all of these things. And then you have like an incredible painting. And to me, that's like realistic art, like the National Gallery. Have you been to the National Gallery?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
Into the Tate Modern here. That's it, I think, as far as art galleries go. I love museums, though. I go to a lot of museums.
Okay, so museums have a lot of realistic art. So when you see something like, you know, a very good sculpture, or a very good, like a work of art that you see that has probably taken days or weeks to complete, or even years sometimes. And to me, it's like, it's someone who stepped out of that whole mess and captured it and just created this thing that is so beautiful. And I was into literature a lot when I was younger, and philosophy. And I love this connections of like how I can just give meaning to art when it did not have it there, but it can symbolize that thing for me. And I just was always so drawn to it. And especially works of art that look like a lot of work went into them. I respect hard work since I was young. It's bad. But I would respect it so much. So I would see this and I would always think, I want it. And we were not very well off when I was younger. So my parents could never afford art. Like, they would obviously, I don't know if there's any child who could be like, Mom, I want like a 5,000, you know, custom made, like £5,000 piece in my house. Probably. And they would have, okay, that was not me. But my mum would always get me paint. So she was very generous with that. She's like, paint is cheap, canvases are cheap. There you go. That's £20 worth of stuff. Knock yourself out for the next 3 years.
Nice.
And I would I would copy them. So I didn't have any formal training, but I would just copy art because I wanted to see it in my room. I wanted to have it there. And I always wanted very high quality things. So I could print it out, but it wouldn't be the same. I would want and they were so bad. They were so terrible. My old ones. But through practice, I just got better throughout the years.
They have to be terrible. Like, were you ever going to start and be able to draw very well? Like, absolutely not. And I think it's so important to acknowledge that at the beginning and be okay with it, as opposed to have it as be like a discouraging factor. You know, that was really, really inspiring. You know, at the beginning of this podcast, I said to you, I feel like you have so many aspects to your life, and whenever I see that, I really admire it and I want to know more. This is exactly what I was talking about. You know, you're clearly very passionate about art, and you have this deep internal like root cause for why you think it's important and why it adds value to your life. And what you said about the world being go, 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 and everything moving fast, but art is just like, it's there and it's like static. That hit me deep, you know? that hit me really deep.
I need to get you a painting, Nasir.
Oh, man. I mean, it's crazy because, like, the idea of me now sitting down and being stationary and not doing something, so for example, like watching a movie or sitting down to draw or sitting down with a book in my hand to read, is like so out of this world. It's just like, why would I stop what I'm doing and just sit down and chill? Like, I just want to be doing something. It's what you said, this move. I feel like it's ingrained deeply in me, you know, that I just want to be doing things and I want to be moving. And, you know, listening to audiobooks as opposed to physically reading them has been great for me because now I can read and be doing things at the same time. It's been a massive improvement in my life. I'm so happy I started that. But like, I yearn for this idea of sitting down and drawing a painting. Like, genuinely, like just not thinking about anything else, just being there present in this static activity. And I just like, I don't do any of that in my life. I'm always moving, I'm always running around, I'm always whatever. And it is beautiful. It's something that I definitely should do.
It's an escape like nothing else. Like I'm the exact same. You can tie me down to a chair, but I will still be thinking. I will probably start revising something in my head or thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow or what I'm going to do exactly when you untie me. Exactly. And I can't waste that time. It's wasted. If I am conscious, I'm processing and I'm thinking, and it's so difficult for me to stop. And I mean, I get this toxic productivity thing, and I'm so scared of it on YouTube because it comes so naturally to me and I don't want to promote it. It's just like, this is the way I am. And if someone can benefit from this, like if I do this because this is how I feel, great, natural. If you can do what I do 1 hour of your day only, you'll probably, improve. This might help. This might, tips might help, but I'm not saying to do this, but it's the same thing for me that I cannot stop. And art is that one thing that actually my brain stops working when I do it. And I remember that feeling, finding that and thinking, this is it, because nothing makes me stop. Nothing will make me stop. I'll be in a massage and I'm still thinking. Like I can't stop thinking. Same.
Like, for me, the equivalent is running. Like I know running, I'm obviously moving or whatever, but that's the one time my brain stops. Like, and I listen to music, not audiobooks, because I need like filler. Like I need to not think, That's the one thing that gets me to like actually chill. Just like run and not be focusing and like trying to think of, what's the next step? Like, how can I improve this? How can I grow that? Or whatever. So yeah, it's so important to find that escape and to harness it. And you just brought up toxic productivity, which is a muy interesante topic.
Yes.
And in fact, it's so muy interesante. And it had me thinking about it so much that yesterday I sat down on Notion, I opened a new page and I just wrote down my thoughts about toxic productivity. Because, as you said, like, I love this. Like, I love moving and I love being productive. And this is what makes me happy, Everything I show in my videos online is exactly what I'm doing. If I say I'm going to study for 2 hours, I'm going to study for exactly 2 hours. Not 2:05 and not 1:55. I'm going to study for 2 hours because I'm going to set a timer. And that's what I'm going to do, And, like, that's how I enjoy living my life. I love this level of organization, this level of control. And I recognize that it's not the best thing and I need to cut it down, and I'm working on that. But genuinely, I enjoy being super productive all the time, and I'm passionate about talking about productivity and making videos about productivity because that's what I enjoy. And yeah, to think that somebody could watch my videos or listen to what I'm saying now and feel guilty or feel in any way, shape, or form negative about themselves or whatever after listening to me is like so crushing. It's really like I would hate for that to be the case. It would really upset me, and I don't want to do that to anyone. But at the same time, I really enjoy doing this, and so I feel like we're kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I do have a lot of thoughts about this because I've been personally attacked over my productivity a lot. Mm-hmm. I remember when I first started medical school, I had my first part-time job and everyone was telling me, you need to cut that out. That's not healthy. That's overworking. Mm-hmm. And this was 16 hours a week only. Flash forward to year 2, I had 5 jobs, was working full time. Year 3, I have 3 jobs working full time. Mm. So and YouTube now on top of like everything, and it's fine. Like I never feel like overworked or exhausted in a negative way. Mm-hmm. And everyone says you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out in the first semester of year 1. Mm-hmm. I haven't, and I might be uninsightful in that it might be coming. Maybe my burnout just like starts later or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing that made that changed things for me, and this doesn't address the issue of making people feel bad, so that's something I'll address later. But the thing that changed the most for me was the thought of, I was definitely doubting myself and thinking, do I have no insight here? Mm-hmm. Am I actually missing out on something? Is there something to, just calm, relaxed nothingness? Because I cannot imagine going on a holiday and not reading or working. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And working, like, it's not work for me. It's normal things that I do.
It's fun. Like, right? It's what you would choose to do anyway, like without like a schedule. Exactly.
Exactly. And I think there was this podcast, I heard this podcast, it was Tim Ferriss and it was also, I think, Michael Phelps. I'm not sure, I might be mistaken, but one of them.
That rings a bell.
And one of the swimmers, and he said this great thing. And I was like, okay, this is it. I've solved this problem right now. And it explains me. It was literally, he was saying, you shouldn't do less things. Anyone who tells you stop doing things, and we're talking about things that you actually enjoy, right? So like there's jobs that I've done in the past that I've hated, that's different. But the things that I do now, they take up like 18 hours or 16 hours a day, every day. I genuinely enjoy them. And what he said was, you shouldn't do less things of what you enjoy. You should do more of what you like doing and maximize that part of your life. So it's not about, how little, like how time you have free. It's about how much time you're doing what you're passionately enjoying. And it's quite sad. It's probably quite sad that I can't, enjoy just doing nothing for a long period of time. It's sad. Okay. Like, I'm sorry.
I genuinely don't think so. I don't think that's sad at all.
I don't find it. Yeah.
I don't think that's sad at all.
I think it's because we're quite similar in this
We
respect.
are.
I can see how, like, for someone else, that's just like, I see it because of Ali so much. Like, he will get emails, he will get messages, he will get so many, like, I haven't gotten it yet. But this whole thing of, oh, you're so pathetic, or why don't you just do this? Like, this person doesn't know how to stop. This is so sad. Maybe it is, but if that person is actually so happy in that state, where is the problem? And you're not harming anyone. Like,
seriously,
why? It's like telling someone that, why do you find yourself beautiful? Why? Like, I don't find you. That's so sad that you would think someone who looks like this is like, where's the problem here? I don't get it. Like, let anyone be deluded in their happiness if they're happy, and deal with the consequences if there is any when they arise. Because I don't see it any other way. So I wouldn't feel guilty. I would feel guilty if it were the case, like you said, that someone would watch me and think, oh my God, I need to be like Elizabeth. Why am I not like her? Why am I not like Nasir? Why can't I do all these things? That's really sad. And I would never want to give off that vibe that this is what people should be doing. More of like, this is actually what I do. And if any of this is helpful.
That's another thing. Like, I'm so abundantly clear in my videos when I say, like, please do what works for you. This is what works for me. And if you find value in it, then that's great. And if you don't, then that's completely fine. And when I'm making a 10-hour study with me video, like, I'm studying 10 hours a day because I need to study 10 hours a day because I have an exam, like the USMLE. I was studying 10 hours a day for 4 or 5 months every single day. And like, I'm not glamorizing that. I had an exam and I needed to ace that exam. And so I had to study very hard. I'm not promoting this lifestyle. I'm not promoting this. I'm not promoting that. I had an exam and I studied for it because I want to succeed in the exam. It's like, it's really as simple as that. And like earlier you brought up, when I wake up in the morning and I don't lie in bed, like, I swear to God, I don't lie in bed. When my alarm rings, I'm like, the first thing that enters my head is like, what's on my to-do list? And I'm like, oh, check emails or script this video. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I get out of bed, wash my face, eat my breakfast. And I'm like, let me start. Because that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I enjoy doing. And I instead of checking my phone in my bed, I check it at my desk while I'm eating and like watching something, you know? Like, it's fine. I'm not saying everybody should be like this. This is just what I do. And that's fine too. If in the same way that you don't like what I'm doing, I don't like the more chill side of things. And yeah, I feel like we're all entitled to everything. And I feel like if I'm not getting upset about what somebody else is doing, somebody shouldn't get upset about what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, it's just what I'm doing.
Exactly. I think something that really helped me with this, because I face this a lot in my video, how I read 100 books a year and how I read a book in an hour. And there were so many comments saying, this is ridiculous. This is this is so toxic. Why would you promote this? It's about the value of a book and not how fast you read it. And even though I explicitly said in the video, I only do this for pop psychology. I do not do this I'm not reading philosophy in like a minute. That's not happening. Like, I will read that book and reread that book 50 times throughout the year and it will count as one book. Like, this is not about the number of things. I just counted the things for the YouTube video. Like, I'm not counting books that I do. I'm not, like, that's not the vibe. And I felt attacked and I felt as though I needed to defend myself. But then like this, I think the way that I see it now, and that really calms me, is that I am making videos. Like, so when you put an idea out there, you can either make that video for the people who are already convinced and need to see a similar example, or you can do it for the people who think differently and you try to convince them onto your side. And that's not what I'm doing. So if someone thinks reading fast is bad and they accidentally stumble on that video, I'm very happy for them to dislike it, to comment against it, because that video was not meant for you. I'm so sorry it wasted your time. I'm genuinely so sorry that if you got annoyed or sad, that was 100%. I did not put that video out there to annoy anyone. It was for the people who have to take the UCAT exam and need to read faster. It was for the people who, want faster ways to get through the books that they want to read anyway. They just don't care that much about them. They care about the point, but they're like me and they can't not read the whole thing because they're scared. They have FOMO. It's for those people, and those people appreciate it. And those people hopefully were helped. And those people were giving me tips with things that they were doing. So I feel like there's no way to identify your niche in that, you can't put a 2-minute disclaimer in front of every video. It would just take so much time. So I think it's unfortunate that they're going to be there. I'm so sorry, but was never my goal. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind at all. That's not I'm not taking that task upon myself. Like, everyone's entitled to their own.
100%. And back to what we were saying earlier about being really careful with what we say online and sharing of opinions and whatever. I'm honestly so clear to not try and convince anyone of anything. Like, I literally just show. I demonstrate. I don't say, this is very good and you should do this. I just show what works for me and what I think is good. Yes, I do think this is good and it works very well for me. And that's pretty much it. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I don't want anyone to imitate me or to copy me, or, I mean, if they want to. Okay, here's the thing. When I look at somebody else who's doing something incredibly well, let's take Ali Abdaal for an example. When I look at him and I see he's posting 2 to 3 videos a week, he's like super, super productive, blah, blah, blah. The first thing that comes to my head is like, oh, that seems like something I want to do. Let me see how I can do that. So I assess the situation. I'm like, he's uploading 2 to 3 videos per week. And then I look at myself and I'm like, can I do that? And I come to the conclusion that actually, no, I can't do that. I can barely do 1 video a week. And then I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe he's shoving 3 videos a week down my throat. I'm like, you know what? His life is completely different to mine, and his way of working is completely different to mine. And if we're not the same, and if we don't match or relate on 100 different things, that's completely okay. I try very, very hard in life to not take anything personally, to not take anything too seriously. I think the longest time I've ever been mad at someone is probably like 4 or 5 hours, like genuinely not even a day. I don't have the capability of being angry at someone for a long period of time. I'll just forget about it. I'll just move on. And yeah, on the flip side, I really don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anyone to feel bad or to feel guilty or any of these emotions that people might be having from watching somebody be super productive online or whatever. And it's a difficult balance. Yeah, I've been thinking about it quite a bit recently. Like, as you can see, this conversation is going a bit deep. Like, yeah, I don't know.
That's why the word influencer just kills me, because I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do. I do not want to change your mind. Like you said, the same thing. Like, I don't want to change your mind. I don't want to change your opinion. I don't want to dictate any sort of behavior or thought change in your life at all. I'm just showing, what I think. And it's for the people who are like me to start with. It's not for, no one should be this way. No. It's for the people who would find this okay or interesting or valuable because they already think like this anyway. And we're just comparing notes here, rather than this is my way and people should be like this. So I completely agree with that. That's when people use the I word. I'm just like, please call me anything. There's so many better words. Worse words that I would consider better. Yeah, exactly.
That brings up a good question of what do you consider yourself within this online sphere?
I don't know. It's been so difficult. And I don't know what kind of a YouTuber I am, or what kind of a influencer, what kind of a YouTuber. I don't know. I think I definitely started within that medical school niche. I don't think it's something that I'll be sticking to for the long term, just because I don't know. I think that you do it very successfully, I think, but I think at first I was very scared because all the medic YouTubers, the big ones in the UK. So there's you, there's Ollie, there's that medic, there's Anas or Ali. Yep. So all of you guys are guys, and
true.
I was thinking, is there a thing here that people just don't want to see girl medics, or why are there not big girl names, and is there less of an audience for that? And when I started and I would see the girl YouTubers, and there's a lot of great girl YouTubers, but I think I don't see myself doing that either, in that it's just not the kind of person that I am. I'd be very uncomfortable doing a clothes haul, or I'm not vegan, for example. For some reason, they're all seem to be vegan. What is this? I don't know. I saw your steak and I was like, yeah, that's nice. Me down. So I felt as though I was I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I wouldn't be doing this kind of thing. So I think in the end, I decided I don't have a niche, and I'm just going to go with the things that I'm interested in, because I don't take it that seriously, really. Yeah. And it's just as hectic as I am as a person. So it probably works against me in terms of growth, in the sense that if I would double down on being a medical student or something, I think it would grow more. But now it's more oh, here's me talking about art, and I happen to be a medical student. My day in the life involves the hospital, so there's some medical things there. But I don't know what I consider myself, really. I think I definitely overthink it a lot, and I haven't come up with any good answers.
I think I would honestly just really encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, in the sense of just talking about whatever it is that you want or whatever you feel like. And I try and put that above everything. And, a lot of my videos that are not medicine focused, before I post them, I know for a fact that they are going to do very poorly in terms of views, in terms of new subscribers, in terms of shareability, whatever. But the thing is, I had fun making that, and I had fun sharing that, and that is where the value comes for me and for the people who watch it. And the 2 times that I've taken a break from YouTube, well, the first time was for the big exam, the USMLE that I wrote. The second time was because I just got to a point where I felt like it was all too much, and just too much was going on, and making another YouTube video felt like it was going to be a chore or a job, as opposed to something that I did for fun. And when I reached that point, I was like, let me take a step back, let me chill a little bit, come back with a fresh mind, blah blah blah. And so similarly, if I just look at the views and the subscribers and whatever, it's very clear that on my channel, people really enjoy medical school vlogs, and more medical school focused content anyway, generally, sorry. But the thing is, making a medical school vlog for me is a huge undertaking. It's not I just whip out the camera, I talk to it real quick, and then I edit, slice it up, and then I put it back. Making a med school vlog is a very big project for me. It's like doing an assignment or a research paper, There's a lot of thought that goes into it. I film a stupid amount of footage, and then I cut it down, and then I edit it and whatever. And so I can't do that on a weekly basis, not even a bi-weekly basis. And so, yeah, just keep doing what you enjoy, If when I don't feel like filming a vlog, I just don't film a vlog. I'll film something else. And yeah, I just really encourage you to do that, because I think that's what helps with longevity and with consistency over time.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Nice, good. Yeah, I'm happy you did that.
Yeah, good advice, solid advice.
Okay, I recognize we're coming up to the 1 hour limit, so I want to ask you a couple more things. I have selfish questions that I ask because I want to know about them, and hopefully anyone listening finds value in them as well. But yeah, you mentioned it a little bit earlier that first year you had like 5 full-time jobs, or second year 3 or 4 full-time jobs. I can't even count. There's so many full-time jobs going on. But anyways, the point is you keep a really busy schedule. And I like to think that I also keep a very busy schedule. And one thing that I kind of struggle with is handling emails, because I feel like emails are constantly pinging at all times of the day in all kinds of different folders and emails and whatever. And I just wanted to ask you, like, what is your email handling strategy in your life?
So there's different aspects to this, because I have my personal email, my university and work email, now my YouTube email, I have Ali's email, I have the PTYA email, and then I have like the different like groups that we have with Ali email. So there's like various different inboxes for which I have different workflows. So I would just prioritize which one you want to see least. So probably for you, that might be like medical school. And then second to that would be, because you want those notifications to be first, second to that would be personal email, people reaching out to you, whom, like, if they're reaching out by email, they could probably wait 1 to 2 days. And then you probably have like YouTube and business email, which again, like a week, probably no one's going to ping you for that immediately. So I would do that filter first and just leave 1 day a week. I would turn notifications off on your phone, because although it can be very exciting, I guess, it can be quite exciting to see like a good collaboration or something, I imagine, on your phone. It's something that can wait. And true. I would say, like, if I could get a personal assistant, I would do that. And I told you this when I met you. I was like, first thing that I would afford would be getting a personal assistant, because I would love for someone to do that to me, me at this point too.
I've honestly been thinking about that a lot recently. I remember when I first met you, when you came to Ali's house, and I was like, wait a minute, Ali has a personal assistant? And I remember asking you, like, so what do you do exactly? Like, what kind of things do you do? And it just sounded amazing. I was like, no way. Like, there's somebody who can do all of the really boring menial tasks for me, and I don't have to do them.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, I would definitely recommend that. But for emails, also, I'm very like short and brief with emails. I used to be very formal, but now I'll just add a lot of personality to them, and it will kind of be a lot more fun. I will never say, I hope this finds you well. No. I'll be like, hiya, thank you so much for reaching out, or hiya, oh, nice to hear from you, something like this. So I'll add a lot of, like, it will be more like a text rather than an email, and no one's going to be angry for you. Obviously, like, I wouldn't, email the dean or something like that.
Or anything,
but if it's like a consultant or someone in hospital, like, I'll just be very, very easy on email. So that makes it a lot more fun, and less like, oh my lord, I need to type out this exactly in like a terrible tone. So I'll definitely set the tone as very casual. I think that changes things a lot.
That's a good piece of advice. I think my bigger problem is that as soon as I see an email notification, I instantly want to deal with it. So I'll be on my couch, email notification comes in, jump to my computer and respond, because that way it's off my to-do list and I've gotten it out of my head. Whereas if I hadn't, that's one extra like tally in my head that I'm keeping track of. Oh yeah, I need to reply to that email at some point. And so I've turned off notifications on my phone, and what I'm yet to do is like batch do emails. I just do them as they come in, which is a massive waste of time, and I'm fully aware of this. But I need to change it. So yeah, I wanted to ask, like, do you do anything in terms of that?
I would fully agree with batching, because I mean, to people who are listening to this, it's not the same when you're a YouTuber and when you have like personal email. So with personal email, I used to be an inboxer person. I would respond to everything on the spot. It's just so unhealthy, I think, at your stage. It's impossible. So I think it's you can keep that kind of method for your personal email and for your uni email, but I would never keep that method for your YouTube or business, because it will crush you. You do not need that sort of like attention thing.
No, it's very true.
Going about all the time.
It's very true. All right, Elizabeth. I think we'll call it here. Yeah. I've had a tremendous amount of insight from you. I've really learned a lot.
Same.
So yeah, thanks for sharing and being so open and so talkative and charismatic as well. Honestly, I feel like it's been a really, really great chat.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so nice to get to know you a bit more.
Yeah, you as well. Besides that short interaction we had.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you. I'm honestly so flattered that you even asked me. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
Before we go, is there anything you would like to say? Besides the obvious, please everybody go subscribe to Elizabeth Filips' YouTube channel and follow her on Instagram. I think it's also Elizabeth Filips, right?
Yeah, it's Elizabeth Filips. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I've never said that before on my channel. I need to ask you advice on that because I've never ever said please subscribe. I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. So I need help.
It's a tough one. All right, we'll pick it up after this.
I would say yeah, just do what you like is my main advice. If you're doing what is fun, you'll be able to do it more and to do it consistently and to suffer very little. And I think that it's possible to do things that you like. I mean, it took me 3 years to get the money to get into medical school after being accepted into medical school. And I thought it would be impossible for me to come and do like the things that I do. But I think that it sounds really cheesy, but if you really want to do something, you can absolutely make it happen. It'll be a whole mess of a thing, but it will be the thing can materialize. So that would be my advice. Follow your fun because you're going to have to do things you don't want to do anyway and work. So you might as well, work hard at the things that you enjoy and not settle for jobs or degrees that you don't want to do. That would be my little advice.
Nice. Follow your fun. Excellent words.
Follow your fun, exactly.
Nice. All right. Thanks so much, Elizabeth. I'll catch you soon.
Thank you. Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I'll stop the recording.
Yeah, I'll stop everything as well. Oh my goodness.